101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. Over 40 years in wellness, working with all walks of life. 25 years plus in media, including head trainer, no other than Mr. Robert Reames. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Robert. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Thank you, Daniel. My name's Robert Reames, and as you said, I've been in wellness now for over 40 years. I am a trainer, I'm a group and personal trainer, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a wellness coach. I've worked in many different aspects of wellness. Oh wow. I mean, it's been a crazy ride, Daniel, but a very rewarding ride, and I love what I do, and I feel like sometimes I'm only beginning. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, but I'm really not going anywhere too fast, and I'm here for the duration, and I really love what I do, and I think I have a huge influence in a very positive way. I've helped change a lot of lives for the positive. Thousands of pounds, thousands of inches have been lost under my guidance, and lives have been changed. So I'm going to continue to do that work. That's what I do.
Mr. Robert Reams, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge
Thank you,
and
thank you.
wisdom to the world. So today let's talk about deception in the wellness industry. How do you define deceptive marketing in the context of the $2 trillion global wellness industry?
Well, let's think about it. I mean, it's mostly when I say that, I'm talking about the United States because here we spend exponentially more money than any other country. And we are, I think the last rankings, we rank number 37 in
Yes.
wellness as far as rankings in major countries across the world. So think about that. We spend exponentially more money, but we rank 37th in overall wellness. That pretty much speaks for itself. We have a diet industry that is basically dead now. I mean, the diet industry, people have picked up that diets don't work. They really never did. But what's happening now is you've got the GLP-1s coming on, the shots, and they're kind of taking over the baton for where the failed diet industry has really steered us wrong. 75% of Americans are overweight and or obese. We've got what, 1 in 3 kids now with full on type 2 diabetes, which is a completely preventable condition. And we have nearly 50% of adults with either diabetes or insulin resistance, which is the precursor to diabetes. Why do we have all this? Well, what drives the market? What drives 70% of the American diet being ultra processed fake food? What drives
Totally.
it? What drives what's driving now the GLP-1s? All the ads, and every doctor that you go in to see and you want to lose weight, they're going to put you on the shot because commission. That's marketing. This is all marketing. It's all marketing. And what people have to do, Daniel, is they have to wake up. We have a situation in America now where RFK and his team is doing some amazing things to bring this all to the forefront. And finally, those of us that know what we're talking about, that have been talking about this for years, now it has legs and it has marketing. And that's a good thing. But the the main thing that's still missing, in which nothing will change unless this is conquered and brought to the forefront, is the collective behavioral change that is needed in our country and frankly all over the world, where if you buy all this stuff, if you're bamboozled and fooled and manipulated by the marketing machine and the big machines, well, guess what? They're going to keep making it because you're buying it. But the second we collectively wake up and realize what's going on with the RFK thing is helping with that now. People are starting to go, yeah, maybe the fact that we are 37th worldwide and we spend all this money, and I've spent all this money on diets and whatever, and I'm still miserable and I'm still sick. And by the way, just sick enough, you're not going to die. You're just going to be sick enough that you're going to be dependent on the machine. When we start waking up and realizing, Daniel, that this has all been manipulated through marketing through many, many years, really since the early 60s and even into the 50s and the 40s, the second we wake up is the second all this changes. Because here's the thing. If we buy it, Daniel, guess what? They're going to make it. And if we stop buying it and if we demand better, it'll stop on a dime.
Definitely.
So that's a long answer to a short question.
And Mr. Robert, what are some common marketing myths, like the appeal to nature fallacy that wellness brands use to mislead consumers?
Oh, bright colors, really nice, fun scenarios with family. I was just having this conversation today. This is something that I've done videos on before, but I just posted some stuff actually today on this again. We have very influential athletes and celebrities that could influence basically anything they wanted that they choose to. But they choose to put their names and associate it with processed foods or fast foods or modalities that aren't really going to drive the improvement of America's health forward. It's going to continue to drive it backward. They become part of the machine. They have resources, they have influence, they have money. And instead of putting into something like farming, you see, farming in America is really going down the tubes, and that's a real shame. And all it would take is some of these large influencers with a lot of the resources to start putting direction towards that. Now, instead of an athlete who's become very successful and has all this money and retires and wants something to do, instead of an athlete investing in fast food franchises, why doesn't this athlete invest in farming? Why doesn't this athlete invest in organic foods? Why doesn't this influencer invest in education in schools for kids so we teach them from the beginning how to eat? Well, because the machine that is driving the deception, that is driving kids in the wrong direction, from the second they can understand media, that's what's going on. And I can say that, Daniel, because I was part of that. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s. I was a heavy kid. If you see this guy right behind my left shoulder here,
Yes.
that was me when I was about 13. I was in middle school. And I
Mhm.
was addicted to these ultra processed foods. And you know why? Because they tasted dang good. And I was addicted to them. And I loved them. And I wasn't getting them at home, but I would go out because I had a paper route and I had a lawn mowing business. And so I chose to spend my money that way because I loved a Dairy Queen. I loved McDonald's. I loved all this stuff. And I got fat. I got heavy. And I was able to wake up early on in middle school, towards the end of the middle school and into high school, but I struggled with it for about 10 years until I started, when I got out of college and I moved to LA and I started teaching aerobics. I started doing group classes with aerobics and fitness and went to work. And that was the onset of my fitness and wellness career. The second I started doing that, I never turned back.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Robert. Finally, you know what is a good food indeed. Can you share
Hey,
an
hey,
example?
man, and
Yes.
Daniel, I want to thank your studio audience too. Thank you so much.
Yes. You're most welcome. So, can you share an example of wellness product like those who promoted by Bell Gibson?
By who?
Bell Gibson
Bell
that exploited consumer trust in the false claims.
Bell Gibson. I'm not familiar with Bell Gibson.
So just give an example where you know that this product is not good, but they are promoting it.
Here, I'll grab my. I'll show you a picture. Two very prominent athletes. One of them retired, and I think one of them is semi-retired. If you can see that right there,
Yes.
two NFL superstars sitting there with sugary crap fake food cereal, breakfast cereal that starts out kids' days, loading up with sugar, driving their hunger, and being a major, major component in the diabetes epidemic in this country and all over the world. There's a clear example.
Yes. Definitely. And Mr. Robert, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Personally
Yes, personally as well as your business itself.
and professionally.
Yes.
Um, wow. Well, obviously, I'd like to put a dent in this machine that's been driving this forward for so many years. And like I said, now that RFK and his team have this momentum going, there's real legs with this and real, I think that there is going to be some changes, but there's so much work to do, Daniel, that it's probably going to take the rest of my lifetime. My goal ultimately is to, and I've said this for many, many years, there's a communication gap between the entire wellness industry and the people that need the help the most. The wellness industry only really connects with people, the 10, maybe 15% of people that actually pay attention and take care of themselves. I mean, you look like you're a pretty fit guy. So you probably pay attention to things out there and modalities that are going to help enhance your health and your life, body, mind, and spirit from the inside out, right?
Yes.
But there are about 85% to 90 people that tune out. They tune out because nobody speaks to them. And when the industry does speak to them, it hammers them and maybe punishes them and really ridicules them sometimes for not taking care of themselves, but doesn't give them any real answers. The people that take care of themselves, we talk about exercise in America, probably 15% of Americans get the recommended amount of exercise. That means 85% of Americans are sedentary. They don't do anything. So my goal is to close that gap and flip that script and turn those tables. That's what it's always been. And like I said, especially since I've been in the media the last 20, 25 years, I played a small part in doing that, but it's so big, I can't do it myself. But if other people jump on board and maybe people that hear, people that hear these podcasts that I do, if it saves one person, that one person may go on and talk to their friends in their community. It may help so save more people. It has to be a movement. I just published my latest book called Anti-Diet: The Paradigm Is Shifted. The goal with that book is really to open people's eyes and give people a roadmap that they can get to the best version of themselves, body, mind, and spirit, and working from the inside out. And when I talk about working from the inside out, Daniel, I'm talking about actually a switch flipping within people that goes, it says, wow, I want more with my life. I deserve better. So I'm going to take better care of myself. I'm going to move my self care up the priority list, because most people's self-care is really either not even on the list or it's at the very bottom. So my goal is to bring awareness to all this and behavioral change and start to turn the scripts on this, because I'll tell you something. If we don't do that, this machine is just going to continue, and all of the problems that arise from people not feeling good about themselves, people are angry out there. It's like it all comes back to self-care. And I did one of my podcasts that aired. My podcast just dropped like 7 weeks ago, and it's doing really well. In one of the episodes, I talked about how can we change the world. And here's how we can change the world, Daniel. What if we had, and I'm not going to expect miracles here, it's not going to be 100%, but what if we had a 20% overall improvement in metabolic health in just America alone? 20% improvement in metabolic health. That would affect body, mind, and spirit. That would help us work from the inside out and be more aware and take better care of ourselves. And when we feel better about ourselves, we treat everybody better. We do it builds. We feel better about ourselves, so we start to spread the word. In this vibration goes through all of our communities, and our communities start to feel a bit better about themselves. And guess what? Then perspectives start to change. And when I talk about perspectives, I'm talking about the eyes that we see from. How do we see ourselves in this world? How do we see the world, and how do we see ourselves within this whole world? And when we start seeing ourselves as being in more control, taking better care of ourselves, then we change the world. So again, that's kind of a long answer to a short question, but that's how it's going to happen. And until all that happens, the needle's not going to really move too much.
Well, good luck to your goals, Mr. Robert, and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be, of course, like you?
Well, buy the anti-diet, order it on Amazon, the anti-diet, which is another thing right here behind me. You see the book there? And
Yes.
yeah, and buy the anti-diet. The paradigm has shifted. It's on Amazon right now, and you've been showing my app, the Revive and Sustain Wellness app. You could have 40 years of my work right on your phone there. I mean, these are two things that will help everybody to change lives and give people control, and it gives people roadmaps, and it gives people skills. At the end of the day, Daniel, this is about, everybody's looking outside themselves for the answers, but what we need to do, like anything else, there's anti-diet. That's it. Like anything else, if we want to learn how to do something, if we want to make changes, we have to learn skills. We have to learn skills. If I'm going to go be a welder, I need to go learn how to weld. If I'm going to be a doctor, I need to go to school to learn how to be a doctor. If I want to be healthy, if I want to be whole, and again, body, mind, spirit, working from the inside out, and have a handle on this, I need to learn the skills to make this happen. That's what the diet industry never gave us. They spoon fed everybody, but then once the diet was done, where did people turn? They went back to what they knew. So we have to learn skills. And if everybody gets this book, Anti-Diet, the Paradigm Has Shifted, this is a personal roadmap to your success in health and wellness. So that's what I'm going to recommend for people out there. And the other thing is just be conscious and bring your ultimate self-care, your individual self-care for yourselves and your families. Move it up the priority list and make it mean something to you. Make it mean something to you. And if it means something to you, you're going to go forth and be positive and do something with it. That's my advice.
Thank you for that advice, Mr. Robert. And can you please recommend the books or book that influence your journey?
The what, Daniel?
Books or book that influence your journey?
A book that influenced my journey?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, probably one of the most influential books in terms of um, my work, most all of the textbooks that I've used through National Academy of Sports Medicine, and all of the logistics and the things that I learn and continue to learn, because that all that alphabet behind my name is current. I keep up with that. Those are all current certifications. All those are my favorite books. And probably one of the books that stood out to me in the last 20 years was Dr. Phil's book called The Ultimate Weight Solution, because this was really the first book that addressed the mental health aspect of self-care and weight control. That book continues to be today one of the, in my opinion, one of the best comprehensive books for self-care that's out. And it's 23 years old.
Wow, thank you for that recommendation, Mr. Robert. And how do social media influencers contribute to deceptive marketing in wellness, and what can be done to hold them accountable?
Well, they're going to continue to do what they do as long as the check's clear. It's all about this, Daniel. It's all about money. It's all about the direction of money. So, influencers, like I said at the beginning about like some of the athletes or any influencer out there that is put their name on something that is part of the ultra processed machine, or part of the process is giving misinformation to the public out there and driving this health epidemic. People have to, influencers have to make a choice. You see, Daniel, I made a choice to take the high road. I've had offers along the way to, oh, it looks like we lost for a second to reconnecting. Influencers have to make the choice to take the high road. Along the way, I've had a couple of, let's put endorsement offers that were pretty shaky that I didn't want to put my name on. The things that I put my name on throughout my career are things that I totally believe in. I'm going to repeat that because it said reconnecting again on here. But the things that I put my name on out there are things that I truly believe in. So influencers out there have to make a choice. How badly do you need the money? If the money's, if it's enticing that the money's so good that they're going to put their name and their likeness on crappy, can I swear on here, crappy, shitty products?
Go
You know
ahead.
what I mean? It's gonna, yeah, as long as that perpetuates, then the machine is going to perpetuate. That's what I was talking about at the beginning with these athletes. It's like, well, you could invest in a bunch of Domino's Pizzas franchises or Pizza Hut or, Whataburger or whatever, or you could go out and put your resources towards organic farming, which is being lost in our country. Farmers need help. They're being controlled. Some of that's being controlled by the government. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast. But if these athletes went out and bought farms, there's a big movement in the United States about people growing their own food. And I love that movement because people are starting to take charge. They have to, because the market's not going to take charge. The market is being driven by foods that are going to slowly make us sick. So influencers have to make a decision. Where are they going to put their direction? And that's another thing that has to change too. Money talks, Daniel. At the end of the day, money talks. And when money is behind the big machine that's making us sick, it's going to keep going in the same direction. But we, again, as consumers, we hold the cards. So we have to make a behavioral change. We have to wake up, and we have to also direct ourselves into putting our money into things at the grocery store like whole natural foods. We have to work harder on maybe cooking our own meals at home, cooking in bulk. The other thing about healthy food out there, that it's deemed to be too expensive. If you actually do the math, and we've done that with the app and some of our corporate wellness programs, if you actually do the math, it is exponentially cheaper to eat healthy, not only in the short run, but you're not paying the price later with poor health and sickness. So that's how it's going to change, Daniel.
Mr. Robert, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast law 101 and mental health 101 love letters in its fourth season, as well as my movie 101 review and music 101 and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. And Mr. Robert, if you could summarize your anti-diet, what it's all about.
It's a roadmap to personal health, working from the inside out, body, mind, and spirit. Here's the thing: we have a situation where we have to start feeling better about ourselves. The minute we feel better about ourselves, we will start to get better care of ourselves. So I like to say we have chapters. There's a chapter called Body Image, Self-Image, the Self-Esteem Project. It just gets you focused on feeling better about you. There's a chapter on the RR Lifeline of Action when it talks about critical decisions. Making critical decisions in either direction drive our momentum, drive our habits, and create our results. I have another chapter in there about the 8 elements of life and longevity. These are 8 elements of things that you can do to take better care of yourself. And if you implement these things into your life, then you're going to get a better outcome. I have the exercise chapter that illustrates my basic recommendations on exercises, and that also drives people to the app, which is what you have shown up at the beginning of the podcast. The Revive and Sustain Wellness app that is at reviveandsustain.com. And I also have a very comprehensive chapter on my signature plate structure system. I call it the plate structure system because, Daniel, when we sit down to a meal, or we go to a restaurant, or we go to a party, or we go to an event, we don't count calories, we don't weigh food, we don't need to. I've never had anybody count a calorie in 42 years of work. What we do is we sit down, we grab a plate, and we fill it. And we eyeball it. We don't measure it, we estimate it. And I teach people how to do that with my plate structure system. We have Chef Andy, that is amazing, my partner in this book. And there are about 160 recipes, very awesome, simple, easy to make recipes, all based on my plate structure system. We have a whole chapter about how to prepare your kitchen. We got food lists, we got condiment lists, we've got shopping lists, we've got everything. This is a complete 100% personal roadmap for your success in health and wellness. I wrote this book to be very simply understood. I've been doing this for over 40 years, and all the goods are in this book, Daniel. So if people buy this, all they need to do is do the work and follow the work, and they'll be successful. It's in a book form, and it's also in an ebook. And when you go to the page on Amazon, you have your choice to order either one. But it talks about skills. This is a roadmap or a manual for your self-care. It teaches you how to do it. And Daniel, when you learn how to do things, you know how to do them, and you know how to implement them. If you don't have the skills, then you can't do it. You have to have the skills. And Anti-Diet, the paradigm is shifted, gives folks the skills, body, mind, and spirit, once again, from the inside out. It's a complete roadmap and a manual to personal success in optimum health.
Mr. Robert Reames, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support?
And thank you again to your studio audience, Daniel. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. So can you please invite our listeners to support your books, your business, or whatever advocacy that you are promoting?
Yeah, Amazon.com, Anti-Diet, the paradigm is shifted. That's the book cover, the one you see there. And then reviveandsustain.com, the Revive and Sustain Wellness app, both of those places. And also my podcast, the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered Podcast. Check it out on YouTube and anywhere that you get your podcast.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Robert Reames because if you support him, for sure, more and more and more empowering books to come, more and more empowering episode of the podcast itself. Yes, more episodes, and for sure, it will empower us. So, Mr. Robert, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it.
More to come, people. See you soon.